Welcome into Timeout with Tubby, presented by Southwest Bank. Alongside the head coach, Tubby Smith, I'm Adam Doyle. Coach, I feel like, just from my perspective, maybe your most recent win at Oklahoma State may have been the most impressive win of your four-game winning streak. Not because just it was the most recent game, but because you win in Stillwater for the first time in 13 years. You have a four-game winning streak in Big 12 play, which is the first time since 2005 this program has done it. And inside and outside of this program, you're getting a lot of credit, you individually as the head coach, but how much credit does your team deserve for keeping the wherewithal to understand that they have to slow it down, keep it one play, one practice, one game at a time to keep the winning going like they have?
Well, I haven't made a shot or made a basket since 1973 that meant anything. So all the credit goes to our players and for their development, for their focus, for their coachability, to be able to stick to what we've the game plan, execute the game plan. And I'm really proud of how we've responded. We've tried to teach our players to be, as my parents and my dad taught me, moderation. Don't get too excited, don't get too down, don't get too high, don't get too low, because you have a job to do, son. And he used to say, you do your job. And that's what you're called to do. And I tell our players all the time, this is act like you've been there before. I've been there before. Let me tell you how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to respond. And just like you're giving credit to your teammates, you give credit to the opponents, you give credit to other people, and the more you give, the more you're going to receive.
It seems like somebody different has stepped up each of these four wins. We talked about Devontae, we talked about Aaron Ross, and it seemed like there were two individuals that stepped up from my point of view. Todrick Gocher has a career high with 24 points, 21 of those coming in the second half. And then Matt Temple gets the most playing time he's gotten all year, pours in 11 points. How big were those two individual performances to help you get that win?
Oh, they were huge. All those things you mentioned, all the players you mentioned, especially Todrick. His leadership on and off the basketball court has been as good as any player I've ever been around. And Matt Temple, everybody knows his story, coming out of, fraternity league and playing and starting and playing, you're right, one of the best games he's played so far. But that's what we expect. He came in, he's been with us since the summer. So he's like any other player that we have in our program. We want him to continue to get better. But you're right, Aaron Ross is stepping up. Zach Smith is doing great things. He's our best defensive player. Keenan Evans, what can you say about him over the last few games? They all are contributing, as is the entire bench.
TCU comes to town Tuesday for an 8 p.m. tip on ESPN News, a team that you beat before this year in their place in Fort Worth. And I thought in large part you won that game because of your bench play that really, really stepped up and because you assisted 21 times on 26 made baskets. Is that something you want to replicate again to beat the Horned Frogs a second time?
Absolutely, and that's what we like to replicate every game. And we've been holding down our turnovers and doing a better job with the assist-to-turnover ratio. And we'll really have to do that against a very good TCU team that distributes the basketball. They're very physical inside. So we've got to continue to play the right way, continue to execute at both ends of the court. So so we're looking forward to the game.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Texas Tech hosting TCU 8 p.m. Tuesday on ESPN News. We want you here in the building, though. We need another great crowd like we had at the Oklahoma game. For tickets, go to texastech.com or call 806-742-TECH. Then afterwards, obviously, head back to texastech.com for full game highlights and that post-game recap. For head coach Tubby Smith, I'm Adam Doyle. That was your Timeout with Tubby, presented by Southwest Bank.